Everybody out there with divorced parents out there? Yeah, it's here for divorced parents. So my parents got divorced when I was 10, or as my therapist called them, the money years. Now when parents get divorced, there's a certain roles that the mother and father fall into. The mother's role is to create a sense of stability for the child in this time of change, whereas the father's role is to do all the crazy messed up stuff that the mom wouldn't let him do with the kid when they were still married. So in my father's case, that meant that he took 10-year-old me to see the movie Alien. Now, I'd never seen a horror movie before, but I had seen the original 1931 Frankenstein on my mother's 1931 television. You remember those old televisions with the tiny little TV screen, but the giant cabinet they made by, like, deforesting Peru? And the knob had broken off 2 weeks after they got it, so there's just a pair of pliers attached to it. In fact, I grew up actually thinking that pliers were a TV knob. I'd be, like, fixing my bike, and I'd send my brother in to get the TV knob so I could pull the nail out of the tire. And my mother was never one for upgrading technology as it was. Like, she still had an original rotary phone, the kind that's hardwired to the wall, like at a Motel 6. And the numbers had all worn off, so like dialing the phone was like cracking a safe. So I'd seen Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein, on this little TV, and it hadn't scared me at all, but my mother told me that when she had seen it, it had terrified her. So in my 10-year-old brain, I made the connection that if my mother had been terrified by Frankenstein and I was not, that it was impossible for me to be scared by a movie. This is what they call in horror movies foreshadowing. So my dad picks me up in his Chevy Chevette because as a newly swinging single guy, he was trying to repel women. And we get to the theater. I'm very excited because I'd just seen Star Wars and I love Aliens, you know. This is going to be great. The lights go down, the movie starts. So you know there's moments in your life where you realize that your life is never going to be the same again? Like when you get married, or the first time you hear the cry of your child, or the first time you hear your child cry from underneath a movie seat. It took about 5 seconds for me to realize that not only could I be scared by a movie, I was exceptionally susceptible to being scared by movies. I was scared by the opening credits. I was scared by the dancing box of Raisinets telling me to put trash in the proper receptacle. And I wasn't going anywhere because this was 1979. There were no lights on the aisles. It was like a badge of honor to die in a theater fire back then. At the point the alien jumps out of the guy's stomach, he's in better emotional shape than I am. I'm down under the seat trying to jam red vines into my eyes, but they're too floppy, so I can't get it to work. So, the movie finally ends. I'm totally catatonic. My dad takes me home, drops me off in front of my mom's house. I run up to the driveway, open the door, slam the door, lock the door, close the blinds, make an appointment for counseling in 25 years. My mom comes out of the kitchen where she's been churning butter or something. She takes one look at me, and immediately she can tell that something's messed up. Maybe it's the red vine sticking out of my eyes. I don't know. So she sets me down in front of the TV. She goes to review her custody agreement. And what comes onto TV but Siskel and Ebert? And what movie are they reviewing? No, actually, it's not. It was the movie When a Stranger Calls. I don't know if you remember this one. It's the one with the mad slasher where the big reveal is, the call is coming from inside the house. Yeah. So I swear, just at that moment, the phone rings in my house. I scream, I jump like 3 feet in the air, I grab the volume knob off the TV, which is like a claw hammer or something, run upstairs, underneath the bed. It doesn't occur to me for another couple of years that the call probably wasn't coming from inside the house, because even if there was a mad slasher in the house, he couldn't figure out how to dial my mom's rotary phone. So I'm different from my mom. My mom never likes to upgrade technology. I actually do like to buy new stuff. Like last week I bought some new hockey gear. Now, have you ever taken up an activity just so you can buy the cool gear that goes with it? Yeah, and it turns out that the worse you are at the activity, the more expensive and fancy the gear you have to have, and vice versa. So like the guy on my hockey team who played hockey in college, his stick is just like a branch that fell off a tree. It's got something written on the side in Canadian. And And my hockey stick is actually made out of Kevlar and I think unicorn hair. So I had a game last week, so I go to the rink, and I'm in the locker room, and the rink I played has like the world's smallest locker room, so like the size of a dressing room at the Gap. So I have to get dressed standing up, so I'm trying to get all my new gear put on, and I'm kind of doing some Cirque du Soleil action here, trying to put it on. And the guy next to me is one of those serial nudists, you know, the kind who, the nakeder they get, the more they want to talk to you. So I'm tying my skates, and it's like I'm on an interview program. It's like, no, I didn't see Lost last week. So I get my gear on. My team wears all yellow, so I've got the shoulder pads on, the helmet. I kind of look like a cross between a Transformer and a Marshmallow Peep. So head out onto the ice to play in Candyland League or whatever it is. And I'm feeling good, I'm skating, I feel light, I feel good with my new equipment. I go to sit down on the bench and I realize a serious problem, which is that in getting dressed standing up, I had somehow managed to put on my compression shorts with my protective cup backwards. So I can't even sit down because it's like jammed in here and I'm kind of high-centered on it. So lots of protection for the Gladys Knight, none for the Pips. So I'm standing there on the bench, and it turns out in rec league hockey, if you're standing on the bench, it's a signal to your teammates that you want to go into the game, which in that condition, I do not want to go into the game. So I'm standing there trying to look aloof and distant, like I'm at a junior high dance or something. But apparently I'm not aloof enough because the guy skates over and he like signals me to get into the game, and so I have to like jump over the boards, and so I'm in the game, I've got no protection, and guys, you know this, if you're ever playing a contact sport where you don't have the protection, you pretty much all you can think about is the protection. So I'm skating around in the game like this, pretty much. I look like I'm trying to simultaneously ride and strangle a hobby horse. So I figure I gotta take care of this somehow, so I'm gonna go to the locker room. I look up into the stands, my girlfriend is there, she blows me a kiss, and I feel like I've gotta explain the situation to her, so I kinda do one of these things. Which she takes in the worst possible way. She's like shaking her head, and I point to the locker room, and she's like, no, not at all. So I get to the locker room, I have to take off my skates, my shin pads, my socks, my pants, my compression shorts. I'm completely naked from the waist down at this point. On the top, I've still got the yellow jersey, the shoulder pads, the helmet. I basically look like SpongeBob No Pants at this point. The door opens at this moment while I'm trying to find my compression shorts, and in walks Emily, who's the 16-year-old girl whose job is to check for contraband beer in the locker room. And all I can think of to say at that point is, there's no beer in here. Ignoring this problem completely. But I'm wearing a mouth guard and a face mask, so it comes out as... She sees this giant half-naked yellow thing coming towards her, making strange sounds. She backs out of there slowly. I don't know, I think she ran to the snack bar to get some red vines to gouge her eyes out. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.